In Parsha Toldot, we are introduced to the twins, Yaakov and Esav, Jacob and Esau. And the Torah tells us about the relationship that their parents had with them. Vayehav Yitzchak et Esav kitzayed befiv. And Yitzchak loved Esav, for his game, his hunt, was in his mouth. V'Rivka ohevet et Yaakov. And Rivka loved Yaakov. And there are two things that are worth noticing in this verse. First of all, in reference to the love that Yitzchak had with Esav, it mentions the verb in the past tense. Yitzchak loved Esav, whereas in reference to Rivka, it says it in the present tense, ohevet. Rivka loves Yaakov. Also, we see that in reference to the love that Yitzchak had for Esav, the Torah gives a reason. Because his game was in his mouth. His hunt was in his mouth. Esav brought wonderful foods and delicacies to his father. He had incredible respect and honor for his father. But in reference to Rivka, it doesn't give a reason. It just tells us that Rivka loved Yaakov. No reason offered. And the Shlah HaKadosh, the great Kabbalist, the Shlah, the Shnei Luchot HaBrit, he mentions this. And he says that we have to refer here to a famous teaching of our sages in the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot, where the Mishnah tells us that any love that is dependent on something, when that something disappears, so does the love. A person can love a woman because she's beautiful, she's gorgeous. But what about if that beauty dissipates and goes away? Well, the love could also dissipate. You can love a person for their money and the fact that they're so wealthy, but what about if they lose all of their money? What happens to the love? And then the Mishnah continues that what is true love? True love is something that's not dependent on anything whatsoever. It's just a love and a bond that exists between two people. Well, when it came to Yitzchak and Esav, Yitzchak loved Esav, but there was something that brought about that love. It wasn't just a regular love between a father and a son. It was because Esav was always treating and spoiling his father. But if you take that away, the love could dissipate and probably did dissipate. But in the case of Rivka, there was nothing. She loved Yaakov because of who he was, because it was her son. And that love is not ending. And therefore the Shlah concludes and he tells us we have to be very careful when it comes to our relationships with other people and with God. If we have relationships with other people that are dependent on something, we ought to be very, very careful, because when that something disappears, the love will disappear. The same thing with our love for Hashem. There are those people who love Hashem because they're having good things in life, because Hashem is always kind to them and has showered them with blessings and livelihood and children and health. But not everybody has that. And yet we're told in the Shema, you are to love Hashem b'chol levavecha, with all of your heart, b'chol nafshecha, and with all of your soul, even if He takes your soul, b'chol meodecha, and all of your physical means, all of your might and your strength, and even if He's going to take away all of your money, you have to give it up for Hashem. This is something that you have to do. This is the true love. Our model for this should be Rivka Imenu, our mother Rivka, and the type of love that she had for her son Yaakov. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.